Welcome back. I'm Brandy. This is Repose Yoga. If you joined us for our last video, we had a little warm up. We started to work on some strengthening and we ended in rest on the belly. So if you're still there on the belly, you'll want to push up into a tabletop. We're going to start the second round, or today's practice, if you're just joining us, by putting the toes together, sinking those hips back, and coming down into child's pose. And we're just going to listen to our breath, and there's some options here. You might have your knees closer together if that's easier for you. I like to bring my knees at least the mat width, and it allows me to sink in a little bit deeper. You can stretch your arms out overhead, or you can bring them down to the sides if that's more comfortable for you. Just start to bring your attention to your breathing, noticing that natural breath, that natural rhythm of the body. And then start to deepen the breath in through the nose and slowly out through the nose. If you need a focus for the mind today, I invite you to focus on honesty. I think that honesty is a core value that we all share. And maybe we don't always practice. And maybe there's times that dishonesty seems more rewarding, or it doesn't feel like dishonesty. And maybe that's, when we think that the truth might hurt someone's feelings. And I remind you that there's 3 checkpoints for how to use our honesty, and it's not to be dishonest. It is to say sometimes nothing at all, as the saying goes, as most of us were raised to hear. If you have nothing nice to say, say nothing at all. But that's also not always true. I'm going to pause on that and give you a moment to bring your arms overhead if they're not already there. Inhale to peek up with the head slightly rising. Walk the hands a little bit closer to the body. Deep breath in, looking up. And walk the hands to the right side. Coming towards that right knee. Take another deep breath in when you're ready. And exhale to come down. And I bring you back into that state of honesty in those 3 gates, which is it really honest? Is it true, whatever you're observing or thinking or feeling? That's the honesty check. Is it absolutely true, or is it an opinion, or is it something you heard? And then if we know it to be true, is it kind? It doesn't always have to be kind, but that's where we get into knowing what's honest and sometimes choosing dishonesty.
But at the point where it's true but not kind, you have the choice to say nothing, not lie. Or you can go to that next thought, which is it helpful? Sometimes an unkind truth is helpful. I'll use a silly example of maybe food in someone's teeth. It's much more kind to give a little bit of embarrassment to let them know than allow somebody to go through long conversations or meetings with that food in their teeth. That's just a small example of times we might not choose honesty. I'm sure you're thinking already of some personal times. Inhale to rise, looking at the hands. Walking the hands all the way over to the left side. Deep breath in. Exhale to come all the way down. I also want to remind you that honesty can be with yourself. We tend to make excuses for ourselves, which in our mind may not feel like dishonesty, but if we really think hard about when we have not met our commitments, it looks a lot like dishonesty, making promises that we haven't kept or not holding ourselves accountable to an expectation or a goal and making excuses that lead us to believe it's acceptable. And those are just the lies or the dishonesty we tell ourselves. Inhale to rise, walking back to center. Walk the hands up towards the body. Start to bring the knees in towards one another here. You're going to bring the hands walking forward into that tabletop and just start to tap out the feet. Bring some movement back into those toes. Curl the toes under. Just press back here for a moment. You might sit back again. Rise into that kneeling posture, draw those shoulders back, and take a few breaths in, reaching overhead while we stretch out those toes. Exhale, hands down to the heart. Inhale to reach. I'm going to get a little more active here on this next one. Inhale, arms overhead. And on the exhale, we're going to start to bring the hands down, but behind the back as you bow forward. And inhale to rise up, arms overhead. Exhale to bow down and release. Inhale to rise. Continuing with your own breath. Honor to oneself. Honor to your practice today. One more, bowing forward. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then down towards the mat, leaning forward, releasing the toes. Coming back into that tabletop. Inhale to look up. Exhale to curl the toes under again, pressing both palms into the mat, spreading the fingers wide. Just start to lift the knees up off the mat. Continue to breathe and hold. Deep breaths. Knees should just be a few inches off the floor. This is not a plank. This is not a downward dog, but that's where we're going next. One more. Deep breath in and out.
Inhale, head looks up. Exhale, hips lift, downward dog, walk it out. Start to pedal into the feet, bending one knee then the other. Then pressing back with both heels, maybe a slight bend in the knee just to allow the rib cage to pull towards the knees. Inhale to peek up at the hands. The knees are going to come back down to the mat. Release the tops of the feet. Adjust the hands underneath the shoulders, just checking in. Right foot starts to come back behind you, pressing into the heel. Opposite arm, left arm rises. Find that balance onto that right hand. When you're ready, start to lift that right foot up. We want to make sure we're not tilting or doing funny things with the hips and the shoulders here. We need to find that strength. So if that means adjusting the hand, realizing it wasn't under the shoulder, find that balance. Maybe the knee wasn't under the hip. You're going to be using that glute. You're going to be squeezing here to keep it risen. If this is all you can do today, just keep breathing here. If you want to go a little further, a little more active, exhale, knee towards elbow, round the back, squeeze. Inhale to extend. Continue with your breath. And while you're continuing, for those that can't continue, I'm going to give you some options. Always remember you have props. If you don't have blocks like I have, you can use books or pillows or different things. But for this one, you'll want something a little sturdier. Maybe you're lifting that foot up onto a block or a shin, something that maybe helps you keep it elevated so you can do some different variant of this if the strength is not there. So play with your tools. I can't decide what's right for each one of you without knowing you, but work with what you have. And this is part of that honesty. Instead of making excuses why we can't do something, look for ways that we can. Overcome our challenges. Use the tools that we have. One more. Squeeze it in on the exhale. Hold it here. Hold the pose, not the breath. Keep squeezing. Deep breath in and out. Release. Extend to release. Toe comes to the mat. Knee comes down. Inhale to look up. Exhale to sit back. Child's pose just for a brief, deep inhale and exhale. Inhale to rise again. Check in with those hands and feet. Check in with the knees. Curl the toes under. Deep breath in. Pressing into the toes, lift up, hold it here, keep breathing. One more, deep breath in, slow exhale. Inhale to look up. Exhale, downward dog. Press back with the heels, bottom rises, head drops down. Relax the shoulders, pull the rib cage towards the knees, breathe. On your next inhale, look up at the hands, knees come back to the mat. Relax the tops of the feet. Take a deep breath in here. Maybe you do a cat and cow, whatever feels good for you. When you're ready, that left foot comes back, pressing into the heel, stretching the calf. Find that balance again. You know where we're going this time. That right arm is going to reach up. When you're ready, that left leg lifts. Again, check for that strength. Check that we're not dropping down. And if you are, find a prop. That shoulder's falling, find something to hold on to. Find the workaround. If you have more to give, elbow towards knee on the exhale, curl it in, squeeze. Inhale to extend. One more. Hold that exhale, continue to breathe. Inhale to release this. One toes come down to the mat. And exhale, hand comes down. Let that knee fall back down. Just give a little swaying to the hips on that one. And then when you're ready, relaxing back into child's pose for a breath. Inhale to rise again. You feeling warm yet? And walk those hands towards the knees, rise to kneeling, full kneeling posture rather than seated. And we're gonna go into that previous motion. Inhaling, arms overhead, sweeping motion here, looking up towards the sky. This is gonna take a little more effort as you sweep down. Try to keep the bottom slightly more lifted than before. Hands come behind the back, head bows. Inhale, arms overhead, reaching. Exhale to bow. Should be feeling a little warmth, getting that blood flowing. One more, exhale to bow. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Release the hands down to the side. Palms are going to be open. Spread the fingers wide. Just kind of shimmy those shoulders back and away. Take a few deep breaths here. Kneeling mountain pose. Inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. From here, we're going to bring the hands down to the floor. We're going to bring that right foot out behind you and then bring it out to the side. Allow the inside of the foot to grip the floor or carpet here, whatever you have going on at home. You want to have some stability there. You don't want that foot to be slipping too much. And we want to prevent overextending because then we're not going to have that weight over that left knee. So check in. And when you feel stable enough, we're going to begin to rise, bringing just that left arm out. So that left arm rises. Check in with that right hand. You're going to start to sit the hip back slightly. We're going to find that equal and opposite balance. If you're feeling balanced, you might be able to lift that foot up off the ground. We're not going to hold it for this one. This is just the test to see if you're stable where you're at. And if you are, find that grip again with the foot. See if you can lift that right arm up. It takes a lot of strength. I don't know if I'm shaking the video. I feel like I'm shaking. We're working it here. Breathe deep. Start trying to draw those arms up to the sky as much as you're able to. One more breath in and out. And exhale, both hands come down. Now, if you're not able to bring both arms up, you're just gonna stay in that posture. So if you tried it and we're like, nope, not today, that's fine. We're going to do it on the other side, and you can always keep the hand down as well. But before we switch sides, start to walk up. You're going to come to rise, shoulders down and back. Keep that right leg extended. Inhale, arms overhead, gaze is up towards the sky. And exhale as you bring that right hand to the leg, left arm reaches over. When you're ready, inhale, reaching up again. And this time we're going to switch sides. So left hand comes all the way to the floor here. And again, you can use a block if that floor seems a little too far away for you. Right arm comes up towards the sky, eventually overhead depending on your range of motion. And then we're going to see if you can lift that leg up again. And hold it here. A lot of strength building, a lot of warmth coming through the body as we work those muscles. Three, two, one. Start to bring that foot back down. Inhale to reach that arm up. Give a little push to come all the way back up to rise. Hands come down for a moment. Just the shoulders back, just a breath of rest. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward, hands come to the mat. Start to sweep that right foot behind you. Knee comes down when you're ready. Inhale to look up. Exhale to sit back in child's pose. One deep breath in and out. Inhale to rise. Left foot comes back this time, pressing into the heel for a moment. You know what we're going to do. We're just switching the other side. So check for all those balance points. Where's the knee? Is it under the hip? Where's the hand? Is it under the shoulder? When you're ready, that left foot comes out to the side. Look for that grip. Notice if you're feeling pressure, stretch in the groin. It's okay to feel discomfort. We just don't want it to be painful. And breathe. Check for that balance in the left hand. Start to reach with the right. Start to sit back just a little bit. Find that equal point. See if you can lift that left foot up off the ground. Again, if you can, then we know we're balanced enough. And see if that left arm can come up. Try to raise those shoulders and arms towards the sky. Keep breathing. Don't hold the breath. We tend to hold the breath when things get hard. That is not the time. That's the time we should come into that deep breathing the most to work through it. Let it be loud. 3, 2, one more, deep breath. 1, exhale, let it all come down. When you're ready, begin to rise, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. One more, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, that left hand comes to that left leg, arm reaches up and over. Breathe. Inhale to rise. Opposite side, right hand comes all the way to the floor. Left arm reaches up and over. Start to find that balance. See if we can lift that leg up. One more deep breath in. Slow exhale as the foot comes down. Arm reaches up, a little push to get you all the way. Exhale, arms down to the side. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, both hands come forward to the mat. Release that foot behind you. Knee comes down when ready. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, child's pose. One deep breath in and out. Inhale to rise. We're coming towards the end of the class. We're going to do one more version. Get you all the way up off the ground and coming all the way down into rest. Inhale, drop the belly, look up, curl the toes under. Exhale, downward dog, hips lift, press into the heels. Spread those fingers wide, draw the tailbone towards the sky. Inhale to look up at the hands. Walk those feet forward. Inhale up halfway, lift. Exhale, drop it down. Big inhale to rise all the way to standing, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Release the hands down to the sides. Standing mountain pose. Deep breath in, draw those shoulders down. Exhale to let them melt down the back and become heavy towards the earth. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to bend at the knees like you're coming into chair pose, bringing the hands behind the back, bowing forward. Two more just like this. Inhale to rise. Exhale to bend the knees into chair, sweeping the hands behind the back, bow it forward. Last one. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands at heart. Inhale, arms rise one more time. Little extra back bend on this one. Exhale to bring hands down, this time bowing all the way forward towards the feet. Extend the arms. Inhale just to peek up with the head. Exhale, bend the knees, plant both hands, hop or step it back, top of the push-up. If you can't do this full plank, knees can always come down here. 3 deep breaths, you can do it. Use all those core muscles. One more, deep breath in. On the exhale, elbows come towards the rib cage rather than out to the sides. Lower all the way down, knees can support you if you need it. Inhale for the head to look up. Draw those shoulders back. And exhale to melt all the way down. Allow the hands to make a pillow here. Just rock those hips and feet side to side. Shavasana on the belly today. Have a beautiful morning, everyone. Namaste.